There we go. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining. Boy, did I have another morning again. My laptop is working, so that's good news, but obviously PowerPoint doesn't like me. So today I would like to introduce some new changes in our alarm site. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to share all the new things that is up and coming because we need to leave some information and some new products for the rest of the year. So it's only going to be little samples here and there. So my apologies on that. But I can tell you with deep confidence that we've got a lot of changes in the alarm aspect that we are bringing out this year. But unfortunately, we're limited to what we can share now because we've realized that it doesn't help we share if it's not in the country as yet or on its way. So we're focusing on that. So the first part is definitely something to look out for. I just want to get my PPT to move the slide. There we go. So obviously some new changes in the new firmware, some new products, and then obviously just product family just to showcase some new changes. So on the new side itself, very important, is obviously the firmware upgrade. This firmware upgrade is for existing alarm panels and for new alarm panels. It's the new version 1.3.2. With that new version, we can use access control onto the alarm system, so making it more accessible. There are video intercom features as well that's been integrated, some additional video channels that's been added. Some new relays remotes have been upgraded to a new version remote that I'm very excited to showcase, and some other installer features that I would also like to highlight. So this is the rundown page of that, but I'm going to break it down for you guys in different segments. So I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole. So in the first one is obviously using our Hikvision access control devices to make use of our access control devices to arm and disarm the alarm system. So, I mean, from the, whether it's your finger that you program to disarm the alarm, or etc. So even face to disarm. However, please take note that if you have connected this for disarm and you're using face, try and put the facial reader in a specific environment where when you don't, when you walk past it and it goes, welcome, it doesn't go, welcome, armed, welcome, disarm, welcome, armed, welcome, disarm. I mean, you're going to go crazy, isn't it? So that's something to note that you need to concentrate on. So, but it's still a cool feature that we can use these terminals in order to arm and disarm the alarm system. So I would definitely recommend speaking to your Hikvision representative and your pre-sales engineer to make sure that everything goes smoothly. So you don't have any hiccups, but it's a cool factor because most places will have a facial reader on the outside to unlock the door. So while you unlock, disarm the alarm. I mean, it's a pretty cool thing. But here comes the catch. If you have multiple people that have that permission, every time they check in, it's going to arm again and then disarm. So there's something to look at there, but it's a nice feature to take acknowledge of. Then moving forward is one of those backup features that I've been asking myself personally for quite some time. And a lot of people don't understand this. So in the real world out there, when it comes to CCTV, alarm systems, access control, not so much video intercom, but if it's a large environment, I do make use of that. I extract information, whether it's on my Excel sheet, a document, whatever information I extract. In the event that something does go wrong on that site, maybe lightning, maybe power surge, and now it's broken. And I always have said, as an example, extracting like CCTV information, like what's the channel IP addresses, the name of the cameras, whatever other configurations you've done. If you extract that from CCTV, and I'm sure you can think about it, having like 264 channel NVRs, how long would it take one technician to go and type in after you replace those two NVRs, the names, the IP addresses, the passwords? It's going to take him a while, isn't it? But if I go and put a USB stick in there and I extract that document and I keep it one side, and then when I replace it, how long is it going to take me then to do it? Not even a half a minute. I mean, it's like plug in a USB and say, done. So it's that kind of principle. The same thing happens here. After I've done my alarm installation, I can extract that file towards my Hikconnect account or HikPartner Pro account. Once I've extracted to my HikPartner Pro account, there it will stay dormant, right? So that gives me a bit of freedom. I can do this with multiple different sites. Obviously, please look at the terms and conditions regarding that and your account permission on your HikPartner Pro. However, it's a cool feature because something does go wrong by my client. Even in my vehicle, I have a backup alarm panel for in the event something goes wrong by a customer. It's a quick swap, input that information and everything is there and the client can continue like nothing happened while I try and figure out what's wrong with that existing alarm system. So, I mean, that's a cool feature. And that's something that the installers really need to look at because it comes down to service and in providing that option towards your client with quick swap out feature. But you have to do your homework. You can't go and say, oh, this panel is broken. Let me extract them. You can't. Panel's broken. This is after your installation and everything is completed. Some people say, but hold on, Evan, what if we add other detectors? Yes, if you didn't extract after you've added that detectors, if you didn't extract that information, it won't be there. There's nothing I can do about that. So that's on that topic, right? Moving forward, very excited about this. So if you use to our, hold on, M and L models and further on, if it's a, am I right, the M's got 2 channels here. There's too many products. I can't remember everything. If you have the M model, you can have 2 CCTV channels that allows you to be able to verify by video when the alarm triggers. So you can use the camera or link the camera to a detector. So in the event that the alarm goes off, you've got that 7 or 14 seconds video clip to show you, or a little GIF, show you what has happened, right? So that was on the first panel. The second panel, obviously the L gave us 4. Now we've upgraded it. So if you have the panel with just the 2, that goes now to 8. So it's been upgraded. So if you've got 2 verification, you can upgrade it now to 8 cameras can be added for video verification and alarm. So look, you can, for all the channels, you can have cameras as alarm detectors, but no video information. This links the camera and the video information. So you have 2 different options there. So it gives you a lot more freedom. So a lot of people don't know this. When you take an IP camera and you've got a 64 channel alarm panel with AX Pro, you can have all 64 cameras as detectors programmed, but then you don't have remotes and you don't have keypad and you don't have that, and etc. But it gives you that freedom, but you won't have video verification. So a lot of the guys do that. They use the camera as a detector and then link the camera still to their recorder, and the recorder will still receive the footage and it will still go to their mobile phone. So you can still have that, but the most important part is getting the alarm to trigger and making sure, is it really an alarm, or was it my neighbor jumping over my wall to look at my wife again? I don't know. Anything is possible. But from 2 to 8 channels. Then obviously from the bigger models, we can go from our 4 channel to 16. And I mean, most houses won't even have 16 detectors around or inside their house. I mean, 16, that's a lot. So I've seen one of the big properties here with the people with the money, the mullah. They'll have like 4 or 5 cameras on the outside. Then they have like 3 or 4 cameras in front yard. Then on the side, they've got like 2 or 3 cameras. At the back, they've got like 6 cameras. So that's possible. I mean, that makes more sense. Using the camera, still using the outside detectors, inside detectors, etc. So please make sure that this is the first part. The second part is when it comes to the video storage. And unfortunately, due to time, I didn't receive the actual time period of how long it will keep that on the alarm panel. This means if you are using a IPC or thermal camera and it doesn't have an SD card, the alarm panel will keep that event with the picture of the event, as well as that little 7 seconds little, it's not a video, it's more like slide snapshots into, and it will keep that into the history. I can't tell you at this point in time how many and how long it would keep it, but it does keep it on the panel's own memory if you don't have an SD card, which we still recommend for video verification. Use an SD card, and please make sure that you follow through to the correct SD card for the camera. This is not just on our AccuSense cameras, our alarm cameras, as well as our thermal cameras, but this is also towards our third-party cameras. So don't like to say that because we want you to use our cameras, but you can use third-party as well. Okay, shouldn't have said that. Moving forward, sorry. Then, for some of the installers, schedule arming. So this is a catch-22 situation. I do agree upon schedule arming, but I also do understand why our bylaw of the CITSA Act in South Africa does not accept it. Because in the event that you auto-arm the alarm and auto-disarm the alarm, you are responsible as a company. And if something goes wrong, then you are liable by law. So that's a catch-22 situation. So I want to give an example. Let's say I program auto-arm and auto-disarm for school. And every Monday morning, and you can set up the schedule according to the school roster for the year. I mean, we've got 12 public holidays, and somewhere here, 12 public holidays. And the reason why we don't do more, because if we can't have more public holidays, other countries also shouldn't have. So we only kept it to 12. Okay. But you can add your public holidays, your school time periods. So when you want this template to work and when you don't want it to work. But here's the real reality. And I know I'm looking at the past and none of us really want to look at that, but this is a reality. History will tell us what's going on. So when it comes to a school on a Monday, imagine Uncle Cyril. I don't know if you guys know Uncle Cyril. He stays down the road by me. He jogs in the morning. He likes cupcakes, the carrot cupcakes from Woolies. Just FYI, Uncle, if you're looking at me, yo, what's up? Moving forward, however, he's a speed walker. Big body like that. Phew, I try, and I've got a big body. But anyway, moving forward. Imagine Uncle Cyril says to us on Monday morning, no one is allowed to go to work and school. Now that alarm system disarms because of the program. Now, whoever the person is that climbs over the school says, hey, easy access. No one will know. The security company can't know because the alarm system has been disarmed. So this is where that catch-22 situation is. That depends on your application and your requirement. If it's a specific area, by all means. If it's not a specific area, please take it with a pinch of salt. It's amazing that we can do up to 8 automatic templates. The reason why 8, because it's Monday to Friday, and we wanted to add an extra. Please take note that most guys will do the whole week on one template. So it depends on how you want to make use of it. So auto-arm and disarm this time, and then you can change it how you want. But I think 8 templates for automatically auto-arm and disarm is overkill, but it's a cool option. There's unique places where it's needed, so please take care of that information. Moving on. Some new products. Are you guys ready? Yeah. Okay. First one, our new relay for AC. So the reason why we brought out this model is we've got our normal relays that we have for DC and AC. However, unfortunately, nobody opens up, and I don't have a box here. I'm going to go that way for the camera. I'm coming now. Bear with me. This is not this, but this is an example of an explanation. This. Nobody opens up the box, none of the installers, and none of them take out this little thing. I don't know if you guys, the guys, I know you know, but the guys, do you guys know what this is? Okay. So a lot of people don't know what that is. So this gives you the information about what you can do with the product, how to wire it, how to configure it, how to test it, etc. I know I know a lot of people don't know this, but this does exist. Moving forward, so when people don't read what's happening and how to wire it correctly, then it pops. So these relays weren't designed. Any relay wasn't designed to have high ampage current to go through it. Our previous generation was only up to 10 amps and 13 amps. So it depends on the ampage, not just the voltage itself. So we're talking about AC now, not DC. But DC also has its own category as well. Wiring is very important. So when it comes to this, this focuses on our normal 220, 230, 240 voltage. But instead of the normal 10 to 13 amps, we can go all the way now up to 16. Does it say somewhere? It's supposed to say something. I think we're going to get to it, but it goes to 16. So it's a higher ampage model. If you have a geyser that uses 30 amps or 40 amps, please get your electrician to put in a relay breaker into your DB board, then this gets connected. This is like a soft connection. And the reason why we built this itself is to have a larger load on it itself, and also to be able to control the switch. So in the past, people could then only arm and disarm, or not arm and disarm, switch on and switch off the motor or the pump or the lights, but they can't go to the light switch and switch it on because the guys didn't know how to wire it correctly, because it didn't have extra options. That's why on this model, we have our neutral and 2 lives. So you can do 2 channels and you have 2 switches. So I know it's a little bit complicated, and in the future, I've already started with the diagram and it looks great. I'm just waiting for confirmation if my diagram, according to their diagram, is correct on our environment for South Africa. Got a sneak peek of that, but besides that application. So you have your single or dual, and when you do wire it up and you are using single means I can use for one light switch and for different light switches, example, or maybe a light switch and a motor. So whichever application you need to switch on and switch on anything that's AC. If it is your double one control, it means I'm using both of these together to switch on and switch off the light. I know it sounds silly, but from an electrical diagram, it makes more sense in the future. All right. So very easy, reliable, real-time monitoring for that. So where can we use it? I mean, multiple different places. However, when it comes to the gate motors, please take note that your gate motor uses DC to open it, to close it. This will provide you to put power to the gate motor or take power away from the gate motor. I know it sounds silly, but it's there for AC. It's not there for DC. Please keep that in mind. Here's what I meant by, so it supports up to 16 amps, 250 volts instead of the 240. So because we know that power fluctuates in our area because of our wonderful Eskom out there. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying we know the grid issue. And in simplicity, like I said, for single, I don't want to go too far into that rabbit hole because I'm still waiting for confirmation on this, if my wiring diagrams are correct. So when it comes to it, I have my neutral, I've got my live going in, and I can have separate switches or just a single switch. So meaning that I can switch on and switch off with the app, and I can physically wire a cable in to switch it on and off. That's the diagram of that. The second one is obviously a single, meaning actually it's 2. So it's separated. So for one light or maybe a second light, and install the on-off switch for that. So from a wiring diagram, that application. Then on the physical button is there for us to learn it very quickly, easy. So all you have to do is put it on your panel, just press the button and it's configured. If you've ever added devices on an AX Pro, you'll know how easy it is. There's an LED light that's in there. Gray light means there's no communication. Oh, well, it's dead. That's what the gray is for. Then there's a yellow, there's a green, and there's a red. Each one has a different sequence. I don't have it on hand right now. I do have it on my template, but it is there to show you when it triggers, when it doesn't trigger, etc. One antenna, obviously we don't use the 433 frequency in our country at all. We will not be shipping any of these relays under that frequency. It's not part of our package. In South Africa, only the 868. Done. So it depends on how you want to mount it. There's also a diagram for wall mounting or panel mounting. Depends on your application. So that's the relay. Next up, are you guys ready? I think this is a long time waiting. A new key fob. So Much better design, more rugged design. Also, at the bottom section where the keychain goes through, it's now metal, so it won't break off, because some relationships, no offense, ladies will throw keys, and when they do, the remote goes. Have you seen that before? Okay, just saying. So that does exist in the real world out there. So you want something that can be thrown. Okay. I'm not saying throw the remote. That's not what I'm saying. I'm also not saying if you do throw it, it will survive. No. We just try to make it a little bit more of a better design, more rugged, and also so that you can feel the button. Reason being, previous model, you couldn't feel so nicely on the button. And if a blind person needs to make use of it, they need to be able to feel what button is which one. Okay. Moving forward, there's some other features in there as well. So besides that, imagine now the battery is dead. In the event that the battery is dead and you maybe need to replace it, very simple, very easy. You can buy another battery, use the new battery to open up the back, then put in the new battery and use the old battery to close it again. I mean, that's pretty cool, I think. And it's water sealed, so there's a little O-ring in there as well to seal it. So for the guys online, my apologies, that's this side here. So old remote was okay, but we all know how flimsy plastic sometimes can be. But on the new remote, obviously you need to use the new battery, unscrew it, take out the old battery, put the new battery in and use the old battery to screw it back. I mean, no tools needed. For the ladies, I've seen my wife with her tweezers. You know, the tweezers. I've seen her in the car, and I'm looking through the window, and sorry, honey bunny, it's the true story, though. I'm looking at her, and I'm like, it's not a screwdriver, it's a tweezer. But a good thought, though. I'm just saying, probably going to get it when I get home. Moving forward, on the button side of it, the buttons now allows you to stay armed, to silent arm, to silent panic, to audible panic. So whichever option that you want, you can change that. We also still have the same features as when you press 1 and 2 together, it reacts to something. So you can still program button to say away arming. That's the first one for anybody that didn't want to or didn't understand. So away arming is this one. And to disarm it, maybe you want to program button 1 to arm partition 1. Maybe button 2 to arm partition 2. And if I put 1 and 2 together, maybe it unlocks something. Maybe it turns on something. So it depends on what your outputs are that you're making use of. If I use maybe arm and button 1, it will arm partition 1. If I use arm and button 2, it will arm partition 2. So I can separate how I want to make use of it, and that's massive. Okay, so that's a pretty cool feature. And then obviously normal, your features for the configuration. I spoke about the keychain, the new design, the new look, the remotes, and yeah, all together, a nice little package. So that's that part. Everybody happy? I know it's not a lot, but it's something for now. Okay, moving on. So just to tell you the last part of it. So this is our family tree, and a lot of you might be familiar with it. I just want to take a sip of water here. Real world problems. So in the new panels, we have it obviously on normal panels, same detectors, same door contacts, our new repeater. Well, it's new, but not that new, but a lot of people already know that we have that. Our keypads, our panic buttons, our sirens, and so it goes on down the list. However, I don't know if you all noticed, but there's a different color model in there. I know. Long time coming. Okay. So we already have the remotes in stock. So I can obviously say that because I know I've seen it in the warehouse. I know that there's a shipment coming now for the new panels. So it's the same panel. It's just the color is different. And I think it's a very nice design, especially for like my apartment, honey bunny. So can we upgrade? It's the same system. I mean, it's just the color. So, but anyway, moving forward. So a lot of people are familiar with that. There's some other features. Communication, however, everything stays the same. So communication, you still have your wireless communication to our devices. Everything is still the same. On your Hik Partner Pro app, you can still use it as an installer. As an end user, you can still make use of it. For just while I'm here and while we're discussing this, if you have a Hikleague account with your phone number, email address, whatever you have, you cannot use that same cell phone number and same email address for your Hik Partner Pro account. If you do that, and it sees that you are now an installer, all your devices will be removed from your main page on Hikleague. Reason why we did that, you can still find it on the search bar. You have to go search for it and then type, because you can't be an end user and a system integrator. You can't. We see that as wrong. So my account, I've got my wife under the Hikleague. She's the administrator for that, I'm just the user, apparently. But I'm the installer. So to separate my account so I can still see everything that's happening at home like a normal end user. All right. In the event that you want to have both, then you need to have Hikleague Teams. And you're going to pay for that. Unfortunately, it's not a free option. Okay. Just wanted to put that out there while we're in that same topic. Moving on. So the new panel, everything is still the same. No big changes itself on that besides the repeater, but we'll get into that aspect. So obviously our dual frequency, long distances. And then I know that there are other brands on the market. And I challenged, and I said this week as well, when we had our training year for AX Pro, I challenged other companies and other people. Is my camera flashing? It is flashing. So sorry for the guys online. Sorry. Don't know what's going on. I think it's the USB too slow. But when it comes to these panels, please do yourself a favor. If you're not 110% convinced, do a test. If you feel another brand might outshine us, go for it. Test it. Let's see where the boundaries are. So for what you are paying for with Hikvision, cost effective, number one, reliability, number two, and when it comes to features, number three, we do shine. But sometimes people will say, oh, we can do this distance and we can do that and we can have this feature. Okay, go do it. Let's see in the real world what happens. So I know there are other brands other indies and other companies that sell other brands. Sorry. But I can tell you now in the real world out there, if you test it, you'll quickly see a big difference. Okay. So that's just my personal opinion and also company opinion. Moving on, however. When it comes to the Ultra panel itself, the new panel has two boards that can go in. One is our GSM and our communication board. The other one is just a normal wired board to be able to make that as a hybrid panel. So it's two boards behind one another to make it nice and neat, still have space for your battery to go in. And there's two clip areas that you can break out and one on the side for the antenna to plug in to make it nice and convenient and look more professional. And sometimes people will say, but why the antenna? Well, it depends on your building and where your installation is taking place. Sometimes you need to have a proper antenna to go out in order to increase the signal communication. All right, that's for the communication on the panel, this panel here, the board for the GSM modules. Okay, so it's not there for the signal of the devices. It's there for the SIM card. It's a GSM antenna. All right, but enough about that part. Moving on. Yay, new battery. So we increased the battery itself. Unfortunately, we don't have it here, but I can tell you plus 50 degrees, the battery will still be fine. So above 50 degrees, it will be, I didn't put it in there, but we can also go to minus 10. And the reason why we have that is some areas in South Africa gets cold. People don't realize that. It gets really cold out there. So sometimes, especially when you have a tin roof with a construction metal environment and you got the panel there, it gets cold, like really cold. I mean, it gets past the point of, 5 degrees. It gets to sometimes -1. In that event, when the battery tries to charge in that temperature environment, it doesn't want to charge properly. And it sometimes hurts the battery. It's not a Hikvision problem. It's a design battery issue globally on all lithium-ion batteries. Right. So we added extra thermal padding in order to fix that, to make sure that when it comes to the battery, it can handle that harsh environment. So we've tested that up to -10 degrees. But if it's a heat environment and you put it into your shipping container and that thing is baking like an oven, then we can go up to over 50 degrees. Just wanted to stipulate that because nowhere does it stipulate that, and I feel it's important for our country. However, we already discussed this part regarding our verification on video. And as I mentioned, yes, you can do third party. So when you link a camera and you do that configuration, I will highlight a little bit later on. When it comes to our AccuSense cameras, it's very easy to understand. You need to set up the rules on AccuSense and then pull the IP address towards the panel. Right. You can have a physical wired connection as well. That's on the wired panels if you wanted to do so. But then you don't have a video verification. You only use the camera as a detector. Okay. Third party, yes, we can. We still recommend you to use Hikvision. If you are using any Hikvision cameras that uses motion detection, please take note, if you're not using motion 2.0, you might get a lot of false alarms. And not a little, a lot. It's motion. Whatever it sees, yes, it focuses on human or vehicle, but I mean, size differences, these things do happen. I mean, sometimes my son's blanket looks like a car when the wind is blowing it on the laundry area. You get what I'm saying? Just say, real world problems. Okay. Moving forward, obviously to notify that with a signal, the arm response will get that information. The operator can get that video. It's over here. So you can get that linking action as well. And this is what you guys want to see a little bit close up, isn't it? Sure. Okay. So new design, but not new design. Sorry, one back. Same design. I know you guys can't see because of the light itself, but obviously remote is the same. Door contacts are the same. You got the slim one. You got the keypad. You got the LCD keypad and the LED keypad. You got your new repeater. It's also now the same size as what the panel is. So the repeater is in the same size, and we'll highlight that. Obviously, your new features itself on that, and then the rest is still basic. Design-wise, it looks much better, much more advanced. Well, I feel it's more advanced. And then for the detectors, not much has changed. Still a lot of detectors available, still focusing on the creep zone. Just a fun fact of a description to tell you the differences between them. If you wanted to, you can pause the YouTube video. It is on YouTube if you guys wanted to know. We also focus on the brackets at the bottom. Please take note that none of these, well, the ceiling mount doesn't have a bracket, but the detectors can have brackets. So when you do get it, some detectors will have a default bracket. Others don't come. You have to order the bracket separately. So it depends on what model that you're going with. All right. Especially in the cam models, those are optional brackets. So it doesn't always come with the brackets. So it gives you different options. Speaking of which, on that cam, we're still not going to tell you how many megapixels. We still beat every single company out there. Moving on. Upgrade features, it's now a B model. And what I can tell you regarding the upgrade features, it's all about the transmission of the snapshots, the quality and how fast it sends it. So in the past, there was a little bit of a delay due to the fact that the pictures are pictures. They're high resolution quality pictures. So it takes a few seconds long. So you get the notification on your phone. And then when you try to look at the photo, it takes a few seconds before the photo comes through. So now we fixed that problem on the new model to make it more accessible, easier. So what we do is we first send you the normal picture. It's not the best quality. And if you go back into it, it will be much better quality. All right. So we've made some changes there because, again, it's not a camera. It's a cam. It takes snapshots. And I mean, we're not going to tell you how many megapixels, but I've said this before and I'll still stand with it. So anybody online that would like to compete, please take our PIR cam and put it next to another brand and then trigger both and look at the quality difference between the two. That will tell you immediately why you should go with Hikvision. All right. Moving on, different type of brackets. So nice features, nothing much further regarding that. Obviously, in all our new detectors, we have new chipsets that allows us to have more seamless line for communication. So nothing much more that customers needs to worry about or extra features. It's just on our side, we've upgraded the chipsets to make sure that we have longer lifespan and more reliability on our devices. The same goes with our outdoor detectors. There are plenty of outdoor detectors, different changes, different models. And just to verify that as well as the data sheet, just to show you, obviously, different models, different brackets, so it depends on your application. Some will come with the brackets. as a good example, and if you really wanted to pause, you can pause the video on YouTube and you can see the data information. I'm going to move on due to time. You know, Isha, your curtain passives. So they're pretty cool. The cool part about them is the way that you can mount them. I took one clip off just for the guys in the camera, just to show that, and for the guys, yeah. So when it comes to this device, it's a curtain passive and it can be used directional. So you can go and mount one and mount another one behind it, and you have like a butterfly effect. I also like to mount it above my door area to look down. So it doesn't see anything in front of it, but as soon as you go to the door to try and open up the door, it will show you. You can also mount it to the side of the door. I mean, looking against from this side towards the wall. Sorry for the guys online. Sorry. I mean, yeah, sorry. I keep on forgetting that. Anyway, all right. But installation-wise, really pretty cool, and it's something I really like and enjoy to use because it reduces false alarms. Because whether you pick up the person 5-10 meters away, or whether you pick up the person by the door, it's going to be the same thing. There's not going to be much of a difference. I mean, for you to run 5 meters towards the door will take you like 2 seconds. So, I mean, you don't want false alarms, you want alarms. If you are only using alarms and no video verification, something to look out for. I've got mine. I did drop it, and I did drop it. It doesn't come on anymore. I know. I'm asking why, but I did drop it. It was a big drop, and I don't know. I wanted to install it, and then it dropped, and I can hear there's some spare parts now. So for anybody at my office, I don't know what happened. Wasn't me. Okay, moving on. Our new outdoor detectors, obviously for wireless dual verification. The cam is built into it. There's also a rain shield and a bracket. Please take note that the bracket and the rain shield does not come with. It's a separate order regarding that. It still basically focuses on a normal classification of video verification and detector, and it has creep zone, it has anti-masking, it has all those features, and instead of the normal 7-second and the normal 14 snapshots, it's now 20 pictures in one little image, the 20. Okay, so it's a little bit more advanced when it comes to that trigger. However, you don't have to go with that model. You can go with just the detector outside. You can change the angle of that detector, whichever degrees that you want. It is a 90 degrees or 180, so it depends on your application that you're going with. Please take note that we also exclude animals from a certain kg, so it can be set and adjust inside the detector. So there's a lot that you can do with these outdoor detectors. Moving on from there, our normal Triton X outdoor detectors. So same application, the only difference is you can slide the camera on the top, so it gives you that capability of viewing angle. Please take note that there's a cover on the top and the bottom, so the camera can be installed on the top or the bottom. So if you install it on a slope that's going down, my recommendation 90% of the time, I install the camera at the bottom so I can see the slope going down. If I install the camera on the top, I see sky. Not the person, I just see sky. Okay, just saying, depends on your installation. I've had it before where when I installed it to a wall, I put little washers at the back to tilt the angle. It's not something that Hikvision also recommends, but in the real world out there are slopes. They do happen. So you have to test yourself, and these things do happen. My suggestion would be go with a bracket on that device if you are using it for a slope environment. Detection is the same. What happens if you want to add another one? Well, you can. You can have another camera added, so you can change it to whatever the degree angle that you want. You can put it onto the top area and the bottom area. And when it comes to the verification, both will come through. And that's where my next problem comes into this area, right? So everything very nice, bottom, top, straightforward. And it's water sealed, so you don't have to worry about that. Anti-masking, all the features. This is the videos. So unfortunately, won't play. It doesn't want to play. This is not a me problem. This is a new Office, the Microsoft Office. It's them issue, not a me issue. So I might need to downgrade to an old version. So these things happen. So my apologies. So all that's happening is the video just plays to show you if it's a single cam, the alarm comes through with just the camera, just a single one. And if you have the dual and the alarm comes through, it will show you 2 images. So it depends on what your application is. So just letting you know that it has that freedom. The videos do work, but unfortunately my PowerPoint version does not work. Okay. So for the control part itself, keypad, still the same for the LED keypad, the LCD keypad, wonderful keypad. I still have not replaced my batteries at my own house. However, I've replaced the batteries at the office after 2 years. So actually a little bit more than 2 years. So there's a big difference when it comes to that. And it uses on the LED 4 AA batteries. And on the LCD, it uses 4 of those CR123E or C. No, it's the 2030. No, it's the CR123, and then there's something else at the back. Hey? A. There we go. Hey, I can't remember everything. So those batteries. So if you want to, you can also get those batteries. And then obviously tag reader, the new remotes. We will still have the old remotes, but for, simplicity. But the other remotes are still there. Tags and even black tags as well. So for your keys, especially if you're driving a Porsche, it looks nice together. So, a lot of guys already familiar with the LED keypad. Wireless, no charger, works really well. The LCD one, which I love, if you do have an older generation model and you don't see the zones on your keypad when the alarm goes off, please upgrade the firmware of your keypad. You do that through your alarm panel. Please make sure that you do your homework before upgrading your panel. Make sure that you have the right version that you require. Once you've upgraded through your alarm panel, you can upgrade the firmware of your keypad. Okay. Once you've upgraded, it will show you zones, partitions, everything else. That's if you have one of the older generation models. Some old information. Moving on. So it will tell you the faults. It will tell you the zones. It will tell you all the information. That wasn't me. So it gives you all the detail. Moving on. So zones, yes. And then for door contacts, unfortunately, we don't have the slims anymore. So because some people just didn't like them, I like them. I've got no issues with all 11. I had to count them all, sorry. All 11 door contacts at my house, I have no problems. I have replaced the batteries after 2 years. I can be honest about that. But 2 years is not a bad time period. And otherwise, they work. So just letting you know, my side is working. The large door contacts, the mag locks itself, your bigger ones itself with a wiring connection at the back. So these ones have the shock sensor built in. Those ones don't have the shock sensor. They look the same, but they're not the same. They look the same. And that one's got the wiring, sorry, for the guys online. I keep on doing that. This one has the wiring at the back, so you can add zone 1, zone 2. This one doesn't have the wiring. It just has the shock and the door contact, so just letting you know. And if you want to do one outside by the gate, you can do that one. It's FYI, if anybody wanted to know. I see there are other brands, and they still use it outside, and then the rain comes, and they don't last. I know there's a technical issue at some companies, but ours is waterproof, by the way. 65. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just being honest about it. We all know the real problems. Then out there, obviously the descriptions regarding the differences. Yeah, I do show you the slim because the slim is still out there. Some people still have stock of it. I like it. It's just my preference. I don't know why the team doesn't order more, but that's just I think they're pretty sexy. And then obviously, like I said, 3 years battery life. I think mine was already a year old because mine was not, how can I say? Mine was new, but not new. So let's not go there. But anyway, moving forward, obviously the brackets as well. So different bracket installations, they are there. From there on, obviously the detectors with the glass break detectors built in, the PIR with the glass break detector inside it. I did ask my team, we will, at the end of this year, also showcase our tester for the glass breaker. So it's a special tester that you use. You push different buttons. One is shatter, one is glass breaking, one is glass something, I don't know. Instead of just sitting there with a drum and a hammer and a glass bottle, you know, you don't have to do that. Okay. Some guys, yes, use a mobile app, but sometimes the app doesn't do the same. So just letting you know, an actual tool that's designed with the right decibels to simulate that makes a big difference. All right, we do have that. Moving on, panic buttons, nothing much has changed. All the panic buttons are still available. I've got one that's hanging there. It used to be Grandma's panic button. If you wanted to know, this pro tip, if you go to Builders, you get those chains and Plumlink. You get those chains for the bath, and then you have to hook it in. So that's cool for Grandma. So you put it over there and it hooks in. She can't take it off. Okay. The panic button is there for her because she's just crazy. So yeah, unfortunately she passed away. But yeah, that's a different topic for a different day. Moving on, siren-wise, still inside, outside. Still the video intercom, the intercom indoor siren itself. So this has two-way audio. Let me just highlight that because I think everybody are familiar, but just to let you know. It's a new upgrade version. We have the button itself. So at this moment, the button will be upgraded very soon on firmware, where you can push the button to have two-way audio. So meaning that by default, the microphone is open. So by after the firmware, then the button will be active, allowing the client to push the button for the mic to work. If he doesn't push the button, the mic won't work. So that's very important to take note of. At this moment, the mic is still open. Once we change and fix the firmware of that, then you'll be able to use that button. That's a future plan that we already implemented, and it's something that we are working on. Reason being, if the alarm goes off, this intercom speaker will be able to have a two-way audio between your customer and the control room. So if your alarm triggers, maybe you ask, sorry, honey bunny, I have to use examples. Maybe you ask your wife to disarm the alarm. You drive into the garage and there the alarm triggers. Now, instead of the operator calling to your cell phone, now it gives you that freedom to have two-way audio to your client. Hi, sir, ma'am, the alarm went off. Hello. Yes, it's my wife. You get what I'm saying? So it gives you that option. I don't know where they mounted the speaker, I'm just saying. So in that event, you have two-way audio. However, please take it with a pinch of salt because that mic is open while the alarm has triggered. The operator needs to cancel that alarm or close that alarm in order for the mic to go off, if you get what I'm saying. So if you have a discussion with my wife and then you start having an argument with her, sorry, honey bunny, then everybody can hear your argument. Okay, just saying, because you don't know when they switch off the mic. Okay, so that's something to take note of. But it's a cool factor. Where can we use that? Multiple different places. Please take note that you cannot yell, help, and that will pick it up. That is through a presence detector. It's all different application that's on the thermal, and it's not in the siren indoor application for alarm system. However, if it is being used at a medical facility or etc., they can, if the person falls down, they can ask the person, do you want us to send someone? But I mean, if you already have a camera in there and somebody falls down, your normal human being nature should be to stand up and go help them. I'm just saying, just whatever option. Very loud, a different voltage adjustment, level 1, level 2, and a level 3. So you can adjust the loudness of it. Very easy to make use of, if I'm not mistaken. A long life battery use, AI to be able to reduce that echo noise cancellation, ambient noise, stuff like that. So all those features are in there. So as I mentioned, if it triggers, you can notify. The operator can then send a message back by calling through that and say, hi, sir, are you okay? Because of that two-way audio mic, the client can go and say, yes, I'm okay. Everything is fine. I just felt that. Okay. Just saying. So the option is there for that. You can use that through SIP. You can use that through OTAP for short. So it depends on or through our cloud services to our company. So it depends on what your application is. This gives us freedom, and please take note that it needs to be configured by the arm response company on their software, whether they use Listener, QT Watch Manager, MAMI, the list goes down the line. If they are using it, it is Contact ID, so it gives you that capability. Most companies are using Contact ID or SureGuard. So when it comes to that, it does communicate through those languages as well. So it can be integrated. We have tested it and it does work. Oh, moving on. So the intercom, and then also on your phone, you can do that. Hey, Grandpa, what happened? Saw pretty lady. Okay, Grandpa. So even with the kids, it gives you that freedom. I used the camera for the two-way audio, so you can not just use the intercom, but you can also use a camera that has two-way audio to yell at your children. Please take note that, take that with a bit of salt, because I've got into trouble multiple times. We had a partner conference, and my daughter still thinks I'm creepy. Okay, just saying. So, FYI. Moving forward. Obviously, our smoke detectors, our normal water leak detectors, heat detectors, CO detectors, they are different detectors. So it depends on your application. Then obviously where to make use of it, I'm sure you can understand because we've done this multiple times. However, something that is new is our smoke detector. But this smoke detector, we have the one that's a heat and a smoke detector. And the new one is a heat, smoke, and CO. So everything in one. It has two batteries. Those batteries last for 5 years. If you really push it, obviously with the other units, it's going to be only 3 years. The cool part about this is these smoke detectors can be connected in daisy chain, meaning that if you have one in your kitchen, one in your lounge, one in your bedroom, if your daughter's making noodles and she burns the kitchen again, then the smoke detector in your bedroom will make a noise so everybody will know. So there's a daisy chain. So it's not just that one that's screaming. All of them will scream. All right. Then if you are connecting the cameras, however, if you are using Heat Pro cameras, these are the following models that does work with the AX Pro that we have tested. Unfortunately, I could not test all of them. I'm one person and I have to connect each time a camera, and it takes quite some time for testing, and I have a lot of work and not a lot of help. So maybe I can get more help. Anyhow, our Wi-Fi cameras as well work. I do have my last two here at the back somewhere. So they do work. There's different Wi-Fi cameras, different models. So I just wanted to test to see if that will also work, and it does work. Wiring and configuration. Wiring is very straightforward. It's just a network cable. Configuration. Please remember to go into your IPC camera or your Heat Pro camera. Configure the rules correctly. Do your linking action itself to make sure that you trigger the alarm panel. Once you're in the alarm panel, you can configure that as a normal IPC input. So just follow your normal events, select your line crossings, intrusion detection. So set up your rules before you go through that process. So the rules in the cameras needs to be configured first. Once it's configured, you can pull that camera through the IP address into your AX Pro. Once it's been pulled in, whatever happens on the camera, the alarm will trigger. But then some people say, but hold on. During the day, we walk past the camera and the AccuSense line triggers. Yeah, but you never arm the alarm system. So the alarm system is like a detector. So please take note, if you enable AccuSense and you put on audible warning and flashing light, every time you're going to walk past it, it's going to trigger. So you can't enable that, unfortunately, at the same time, because it doesn't make sense if you're using your camera as a detector. However, our expanders is there. There's quite a bit there. We'll get into there. Our signal transmitter, nothing new. Our multi